Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel where stories and other random things take center stage and imagination is prized above all. Welcome to today's video. Happy Saturday. I hope you guys are having a great morning and will continue to have a fantastic day. In today's video, I will be reviewing A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J. Maas. Yes, it's about time for more Sarah J. Maas content on my channel. I'm super excited. Last year, I reviewed Throne of Glass, linked below. To this time, I'm going to be reviewing A Court of Thorns and Roses, and of course, the first two books of Crescent City. I am super excited for this because I think, it's awesome. I'm really excited to finally review and do more Sarah J. Maas content. I'm hoping to expand Sarah J. Maas content on my channel. I have not done that. Anyway, let's begin. I've talked about all these books all the time, so it's really fun. I don't believe there will be any spoilers, but if there are, I'll let you know. Anyway, here we go. Feyre's survival rests upon the ability to hunt and kill. The forest where she lives is a cold, bleak place in the long winter months. So when she spots a deer in the forest being pursued.
YouTube group now. YouTube 2 notifications. 14:26. YouTube 2 notifications.
Okay, Aylin. Bye. Anyway, a deer in the forest pursued by a wolf. She cannot resist fighting it for the flesh, but to do so, she must kill the predator, and killing something so precious comes at a price. Dragged to a magical kingdom for the murder of a fairy. Ooh, interesting way to spell fairy. Feyre discovers that her captor, his face obscured by a jeweled mask, is hiding far more than piercing green eyes would suggest. Feyre's presence at the court is closely guarded, and as she begins to learn why, her feelings for him turn from hostility to passion, and the fairy lands become an even more dangerous place. Feyre must fight to break an ancient curse, or she will lose him forever. So I have described this before as a what is it? Oh, okay. As a Beauty and the Beast retelling. And that's pretty much what it is. We have the curse, the beast, and everything. So we have definitely seen that. We have seen that in the simple fact that this in the way that this book takes place. There is definitely a Beauty and the Beast component to it, and I enjoyed it a lot. I did. I have read this book at least 3 times in my life. Maybe 3, maybe 4. I think Goodreads said I read it 3 times because I mark it every time, so I think I read about this amount of time. So it does bring me, a lot of joy to reread this book. It really, really does. So it brings me some joy. I like Feyre as a character. Well, I don't love Feyre as a character, but I also don't dislike her as a character. I find that it's kind of like she's just in the middle for me. I love Aylin as a character. I loved her from the beginning, but Feyre is kind of like the character I guess I have to get more used to. This is also the first book that, at least I've seen from Sarah J. Maas, that has a first person point of view, which I thought was interesting. Because a lot of her stuff is usually third person, and to be honest, I think her third person stuff is amazing. Her first person stuff is good too, but I do love her third person books. And so that was interesting to kind of look into. Reading it now, I like the Beauty and the Beast retelling, and I like the the idea of this kingdom that is not necessarily ruled by that wasn't necessarily ruled by a king, but it is
22 notifications.
by
YouTube. Green.
or
Now.
by
YouTube. 3 notifications. 14.
one
3. YouTube.
specific ruler, but ruled by 7 high lords that each rule a territory. I also like the backstory between humans and fae and how they factor into all of this. I think that was an interesting development, and I think that was interesting. And it also kind of comes back to the fact that I remember when I read this book the first time, I was like, this has to be connected to Throne of Glass, because in Throne of Glass there are other worlds, and I have mentioned in my Kingdom of Ash review something related to a Court of Silver Flames, and something I remember hearing in a Sarah J. Maas live stream when it comes to a Court of Silver Flames. When it came out last year. Wait, was it last year? Did it come out last year? I think it came out last year. So I know these, and apparently there's something in House of Sky and Breath that confirms it, but I don't know enough of that yet because I have not read Crescent City again, and I really want to. So the fact that this is basically another world, definitely with a different kind of fae, is also pretty interesting. It seems like the fae are different in this realm, in the Court of Thorns and Roses realm, in the Alcatar realm, as they are in Throne of Glass. So I want to know, I'm curious to see like what else is different, because it seems like there's stillness and they also share about the same features, but it looks like there's more to that. And maybe House of Sky and Breath will clear some of that up for me, because I'm fully not seeing it, even though I've read these books all the time. Like, the one things I'm seeing, I think, if you compare Throne of Glass, is yes, it seems that they do have they have like different forms. All of them have different forms. Like, they have like like their fae form, and then there's the secondary animal form. They seem to have that, but in common. But it seems to be like, at least with Tamlin, it's a beast form, and apparently with Reese as well, but with Rhysand, but Rhysand is for a discussion for a different book, for the next book. So it is something I just found interesting to discuss, and it's interesting to me. I find it interesting, and I just wanted to mention that. But I'm not gonna go into spoilers here. I like the quest that Farah was to break the curse was interesting. Amarantha made a really interesting villain, especially considering her backstory. I like her backstory. Like, you can understand some of the things that she does, but you cannot excuse them. Farah's sisters, Nesta and Elaine, are also kind of interesting, and I look forward to talking more about them as they take more part in the story. It's exciting to see this, and it's really interesting to see Tamlin as a character as well. Although I want to talk about him more also in the review for A Court of Mist and Fury, because there are things that I think A Court of Thorns and Roses sort of hinted at that happened in A Court of Mist and Fury, and I want to talk about those things because I think those are also very important. So yeah, I'm going to talk about, I definitely want to talk about that and see how that's going to work, and how that would impact everything. So I'm curious to see how that would work out, and how any of that would be interesting, how I could compare that, and how I want to talk about that. So that is my review for A Court of Thorns and Roses. I thought, yeah, it was great. I gave it 5 stars. I give it 5 stars every time I read it. I enjoy it. I think the romance is interesting as well, or the seemingly beginning of a romance. I kind of really like it. It was interesting. So yeah. Anyway, I'll see you next week for another video. Subscribe if you're interested in more content, and turn on notifications. Until I see you next time, consume stories. Bye.